Hello, I'm Lawrie McMenemy. Welcome to The Ugly Inside. Subscribe below.
So let's move on to today, and we've got the same situation coming into the League Cup Final. How do you view Saints' chances with that? Because
I mean, if I look back at to your top of the League Cup Final, the FA Cup, I mean, carried on the day after, and a week after, there was a famous photographer, Monty, who worked for the Mirror, and I think famous family, and he got me to have pictures taken of the supporters with the cup at the ground. Yeah. And I thought I'd be there for half an hour. Well, it went round and round and round, and that meant a lot. But there was a lot of supporters couldn't get to Wembley tickets. Yeah. But we had the bonus of going to the Charity Shield. Right. Beginning of the next season. We played, Liverpool, And so I remember anybody that couldn't get to the cup final would go there. But then the biggest bonus was 2 years later, 2 or 3, 79. By then, just about everybody had the chance. We had 3 visits in 3 years. Yeah. But this one coming up, I mean, it's been nearly 40 years. Yes. So there is a whole new generation and more who have now got the chance to go to what their dads and their granddads tell them, and I mean, you know, when I go to the games now, I go Pat Trant and Leon Crouch at the back of the stand, and I walk along after parking my car, and you get stopped by fellas with their grandson or their sons, and they'll say, this is a man that was manager at the Cup. They never say, you know, when they were second top in the league, or when they did that game. It's always the FA Cup or the Cup, you know. And so there's kids who don't know who the devil you are anyway, have now got the chance to go themselves,
sample that atmosphere,
and hopefully there'll be a whole new generation that will visit, which is the most famous ground in the world, and that's why it upsets me when I see games are being devalued in both cups.
I was going to say about the cups.
It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong.
What would you do to change that? What do you think should happen?
Well, you can't tell people who to pick. But I think within clubs, I think they've got to realise. I think supporters can make a bigger noise and say, hey, this isn't right. 10 changes, and I'm not just saying Southampton.
Everybody does it.
Arsenal did it. Leeds did it. It's Sutton United and got beat.
I mean, even Leicester last night, they got away with it in the end.
And
but
to talk
they could have
too many fixtures, that's a load of rubbish. I mean, I didn't know myself till I was pointed out recently. We played 5 cup ties in 12 days, I think it was. Right. Because we had we should have played.
I remember the League Cup because it clashed with Arsenal. FA Cup, didn't it?
Well, we should have played
in
Arsenal
79.
in the 6th round, I think, of the FA Cup. Yeah. And we couldn't. We had to say, Arsenal, sorry, we're busy, we're at Wembley. That's right, And that cup tie was put onto the Monday. Yes. So I contacted the FA and I said, do us a favour, can we play it on Tuesday? And they said yes, if Arsenal agree. Yeah. Well, Arsenal didn't agree. Yeah. They knew we'd be knackered. Yeah. So we had to play Wembley Saturday, Arsenal Monday. We were winning, and then Terry Jenner dropped a bit of a clanger.
God bless him.
Little Austin, bless him, he scored. So replay, and I think it was on the Wednesday. Yeah. So 3 games in 4 or 5 days. Yeah. But before that, the 5th round, West Brom, we had drawn in a replay. Yeah. Well, apparently we played 5 games, 5 cup ties in 12 days. In that season, we played 14 cup ties. And then we would play how many league games then? 42, was it?
42, yeah.
So 56 in pre-season. We played 60 games, and with a
squad of about 15, 16.
Small squad, and now they're going on and on about too many fixtures. They've got twice as many players, absolute fortunes. You know, they've got all these medical things, and you know, get over the strenuous game that they've had. Do us a favour and do not devalue the FA Cup or the League Cup, but particularly the FA Cup. That game of ours, and I didn't realise till the postman kept bringing sacks of letters in and presents from all around the world. That game was televised in every country in the world. BBC told me that. Not just on the day, some of them would see it a few days later, but it went right around the world. Okay. Now, Watford, sadly last week at Graham Taylor's funeral, after that final that they got to in '84, I bumped into Elton John afterwards, and he was crying. And it wasn't because they'd lost to Everton so much. It was the realisation that his little club,
had been around the world.
Had been in a cup final, and everybody in the world was looking at Watford.
Yeah,
who had just come up 4 divisions in about 5 years. Yeah, and he was so proud of all that. Yeah. And I've heard them on the radio this morning. Why not just play 1 round? Why not have a system where the non-league team gets the home track? Rubbish. Do not interfere with what we've had all those years, and it's very special. Yeah,
of course. We've got 32,000 fans going up to the League Cup final.
Yeah, good.
It's going to be the same. We've got a little bit more because we had 25 in 76. So we're still massive underdogs in terms of the game. Yeah. You'd imagine that United fans are going to get those neutral tickets. They're going to snap them up. The other ones, they're going to have 32,000 official allocation. Right. But for the other sort of 20,000 that are available, so we're going to be outnumbered again. What would your message be to the Saints fans?
Do what you did to us in 76 and 79. You can out-sing them, out-shout them, and lift the team. And then, of course, the team's got their job to do. Yeah. And the manager, who I'm not sure he's ever been to Wembley, but I think I read where
I think he might have played for France. I'm not sure, but
I thought I read where Mr. Puel he'd seen a game at Wembley.
All right, okay.
An international game. Yeah. But I think your first time there, didn't matter who you've played for or wherever around the world, you go, woof. Yeah. Wembley's different. Wembley's special. And I think that, the team needs your support. They need your singing, your chanting, your shouting. But they also need the team to give them that thing to support them. And I just hope that it's the same result.
Yeah, of course. Of course we do.
I mean, we talk about the league this year. Yeah. I mean, I was at the Liverpool home game, and I think we were very unlucky. It could have been a 2 or 3 0. Yeah. And like everybody, particularly in football, I thought, not enough. Yeah. Unfortunately, you're going to go to Anfield, and I was praying for a draw. Yeah. But that would have likened us up to 79, where we drew at Leeds and won 1-0 at home to get to the final. I thought a draw, terrific. But to go there and win, fantastic. Yeah. So that was against all the odds. If you're saying it's against the odds for the final, bring it on. Yeah. We've done it once, we'll do it again.
Brilliant, brilliant. Once I remember way back, you made a comment about your team saying that you had 9 road sweepers and 2 violinists.
No, I wouldn't count the numbers.
You wouldn't count the numbers, but anyway, there was road sweepers and there was violinists. Yeah. Who would you say from the current team are the road sweepers? Oh, please. And who's the violinists?
No, I mean, it's a theory I learned over the years about management. A few of them. I mean, it's like we were talking earlier on about big names and that, and the Keegan, Shannon, Osgoods, and all that crowd. I would have a rascal if he could play. Okay. But I wouldn't have a villain if he was the best player in the club. Okay. Now you learn that. But also the ideal team is made up of road sweepers and violinists. Right. Too many of one is not good. And now and again you'll get a violinist who can't understand why you've got that road sweeper in the team. So you've got to bring him away and say,
it's a balance.
If that road sweeper wasn't in, you wouldn't be able to get the ball. Right. He's winning the ball for you. Okay. For you to do your role in this bit. Yeah. So that's the balance. I've got to be fair. I don't really know the team, the present team, well enough. I mean, I'm in the back row of the stand as a spectator, really. Right. I don't know that character.
That's fair enough.
I've never met any of them. I've never been to training ground there.
Explain
so I wouldn't know, but there are obviously, the forwards often are the violinists because they're the fellas that finish it off, and the road sweepers are often the fella at the back who just wins it, can tackle hard, win it and give it. Or you'll get a man in midfield. I like the look of the lad Davis, who he's captain of Northern Ireland. Yes, and I think he's a solid, good, dependable lad who he's got no airs or graces. He's not going to try and be clever with it. He does his job and he holds the position and he sets it up. And I mean, to be called a road sweeper sounds an insult, but it isn't really. It's a different name for a good, solid team man, and probably one of the first names on the sheet. And then the violinists, sometimes you've got to see what mood he's in, or how he's doing in training and that, I mean, like with England, I was quoted the other week. Somebody said, "Oh, I called Paul Gascoigne a lead violinist," and he was a lead violinist, but he had his off days.
Yeah,
you know, maybe
where the strings went,
string had broken, and that sort of thing, you know. But and it's how you deal with them. But every player, sometimes they need a cuddle, sometimes they need a kick up the backside, sometimes in front of the others. But that's not just football. That's business. That's work. That's anybody that's a manager of groups of people. They should know what each person does and how what their mentality is and their approach, and that's the challenge of management to me.
Okay, Lawrie, can we push you for a prediction for this final? It's tough, isn't it? But it's
well, I mean, this
we're massive underdogs again. Let's face it.
Well, when we played Notts Forest, I mean, Clive was a great friend of mine, and he was a fantastic manager, obviously, and I think we won the first half and he won the second. I'd have rather had it the other way on, but it was a terrific game, 5 goals, and a good day out for everybody, really. Yeah,
probably one of the best League Cup finals ever.
Well,
to be honest,
people have said that, yes, and amazingly, the 2 lads that scored for us, Dave Peach and Nick Holmes, were the only 2 from that era to play in the 79 game. I mean, I've got to say, I think we can win. Yeah. Because, and I'm not just saying it because my heart wants us to, because if you went to Anfield and did it, let's remember that and go, let's do it there. And Man United they're not top of the league. Yes. They're not winning every week. Yeah. There's 1 or 2 of their players that are linked with going to China and finishing and all this sort of thing. Yeah. Let's get into them. Let's, you know, on the day do it. Yeah.
And Jose as a manager? Mourinho? And he steadied the ship. He seems to have steadied the ship.
I've only met him sort of at functions at the end of the season, you know, when the manager's dinner's on and that. Right. And the odd occasion. And he's fairly humble then. Right. Because he's surrounded by, you know, other people in the game. And I think when he's on TV and I think he's got a manner which he thinks he's got to carry on doing, and people are expecting him to be different, but he must have something about him because he wouldn't have won everything that he's won. Right. I personally like to think that managers are better when they cut their teeth at lower level and work their way up and have their ups and downs early on, and then like Alec Ferguson did, and we all did. I mean, Cloughie, Bobby Robson, me, we all had to start there. Whereas now, a lot of people are coming in at a higher level. Jose, his record is more, he comes into a club and usually does well straight away, and then he probably upsets a few people, and then the second or third year he's out the door. Maybe it's his accord or the club, but then he goes again and does it, and he keeps proving people wrong. But he's different, he's entertaining, and I hope it's our man. I don't see him dancing around much.
He does celebrate the goals. He celebrates the goals.
Well, I'd like to see him smile. Yeah. Put it that way. And,
that would be good.
I hope he's smiling and the other fella's frowning.
Good stuff.